Hello and welcome to the Carmichael Show. I believe in entrepreneurs, and this show is all about helping you achieve your dreams, your business goals. It's been a while since I've had the program, so it's awesome to be back. I'm also excited to welcome my new producer, Josh, to the program. It's our first show together, so Josh, welcome aboard, man. Now, you know, I was the guy who was the entrepreneur making $300 a month, wanted to give up on my dream, thinking it was not possible, telling my business partner I quit, and managed to break through and build a successful company and get acquired and start other companies and build them up. So I know how hard it is. And I know that often you feel you're all alone in this and you may feel stuck and the momentum's not there. And that's what this show is all about. And I want to help you get through those challenges that you're facing with your business right now. On the agenda today, I'm talking about the doubters, okay, how to deal with the doubters in your life. I'm introducing a new segment talking about the tools of the week that I use for my business. I'm talking about how to get leverage out of social media and a company that really upset me this week. And then I'm going to close with doing something nice for somebody and how that can help you with your business. Let's talk about the doubters. Okay, we all have doubters in our lives. You have doubters, you know, the people in your life who tell you all the reasons why you are not going to make it, why you should quit, why you should go do something else. They tell you you've got a stupid idea. I like to call this group of people the little man. Okay, and here's the good news. You're not alone. Everybody has a little man in their life. Marilyn Monroe was let go from her first movie contract because the production chief at the studio thought she was unattractive. Marilyn Monroe, unattractive. Dr. Seuss, the children's author, his first book was rejected by 27 publishers before it was finally picked up by somebody. 27 publishers. Elvis Presley, he was fired by the Grand Ole Opry manager who told him, Elvis, you ain't going nowhere, son. You ought to go back to driving a truck. Are you kidding me? Here's the thing that you have to understand, okay? Little man can often be an expert. If your Aunt Beth or one of your old high school buddies is telling you that you should abandon your dreams, yeah, that hurts, okay? It hurts. It stings. You want people to support you. But you can always shrug it off and say to yourself, hey, you know what? They don't know what they're talking about. I'm going to go do this for me. But quite often, the little man is an expert in your field. He knows what he's talking about. He could have years of experience and be a big player in the field. What you have to remember is that only you can kill your dream. If you have a dream to do something, then the only person who can get in the way from that happening is you. What if Marilyn Monroe listened to that production chief? What if Dr. Seuss listened to those 27 publishers? What if Elvis Presley listened to that Grand Ole Opry manager? He'd be driving truck, dreaming of a life that could have been. It's hard. You know, the bigger your dream, the more people are going to tell you that's not possible. The more obstacles you're going to have in your way. The more you're going to doubt yourself. It's hard, but you have to keep going. Otherwise, you'll be driving truck instead of living out your dream. And that's not because of the little man. That's not because of the doubters. That's on you. It's your choice. Now, I have a little man in my life. When I launched my Believe Buy video series, an expert in the video production business said it was too long, it would never work. Fast forward 4 months, and that first video now has over 400,000 views and is growing every day. Now I'm writing a book, and some top people in the book industry, they don't like my idea, but I'm going to make it happen anyway. It's my choice, not theirs. It's my dream, not theirs. So if you have a dream, go out and make it happen. Take steps every single day to do something and move it forward. And don't let anybody hold you back. Believe. I have Michael on the line. Michael, where are you from and how can I help?
Hey, Evan. I'm from Shreveport, Louisiana. I'm a make it happen kind of person, and my question really segues with what you just recently talked about. You know, I'm a go-getter. I've opened 4 offices in my industry, and I'm constantly on the go. But just recently, I've been feeling just a little bit like I need somebody to lift me up. You know, I'm constantly lifting my employees up. I'm constantly motivating my wife and my children that work with me. And, you know, where do I go to get a little bit of something like, you know, you can do this. You've been doing a great job. You know, where do I get a little uplift myself?
Yeah, it's lonely at the top.
It is. It's being a leader and being the one that's always motivating everybody. Every once in a while, like right now, you're kind of like, man, I need a lift.
Yeah. Do you have any entrepreneur friends, Michael?
They're friends, but they're competitors. You know, most of my competitors are my friends, and most of my people I talk to with the most are my competitors. So I can't really let a weakness slip, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, you don't go to networking events or conferences and say, you know what, I'm really struggling.
Yeah, really, no way.
Right? It's always the good stuff. You know, this is really common. You know, this is super common with entrepreneurs. And one of the things that I've done here in Toronto, and maybe you could do in Louisiana, is I've started a mastermind group. And basically what it is, it's a group of entrepreneurs between 4 and 8 members, and we meet once a month just to help each other out. Sometimes they like to call it Entrepreneurs Anonymous, but it's just to you know, give another perspective, help you realize that you're on track, and help each other out. You know, it's hard being an entrepreneur. So I don't know if there's anything in Louisiana right now that has been set up for entrepreneurs. There was nothing in my hometown, so I made it myself. But just being around other entrepreneurs and knowing that, hey, you know what, I'm actually doing a pretty good job, helps keep you from going crazy sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, you know, my bank account makes me happy, and that is what I've used as a judge of I'm doing okay. But, you know, like I belong to the Chamber of Commerce, and when I'm out there, I'm always that over-the-top friendly guy that's got it all together making it happen. And so, you know, I like the Entrepreneurs Anonymous type thing. Boy, doesn't that sound like it would fit me just right.
You need a group of people who you can feel comfortable sharing your biggest vulnerabilities with.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay.
You know, and it actually ends up creating way better relationships because they all have problems too, right? I mean, you go to these Chamber of Commerce events and everybody's just talking about the great things that are happening, but they all have their own business challenges too. And when you understand that, it creates a much stronger bond with the people you're connecting with.
Okay.
Now, you're not going to go up to Chamber of Commerce and start, you know, telling everybody all, you know, your life story and how hard everything is. But I would try to identify a group of people. You could start with 2 or 3 people who you can meet with once a month, and it could be super informal, just be over dinner. You know, we meet over dinner, just to have everybody go around and share what's going on and try to help each other out. Is there anybody that comes to mind that might be a potential fit for that?
Well, you know, I do have a business mentor that is not financially involved with me.
Okay.
And I think he might be a good start with something like that. You know? Because I'm always telling him I'm normally always telling him my greatest, latest marketing idea, you know? And maybe I could share a little bit with him, like, man, I tell you, it's been a tough month. Yeah,
I mean, that's the real value of a mentor, honestly.
Yeah.
You don't just want to share in the great stuff. You want help with the stuff that's really bothering you. So that's a good start, and I'd also try to reach out, and now that you're thinking about it, keep that open mind and see if there's anybody else in your network as you connect with people who you get along really well with, who might be a fit to help to come out and join the group. And if you get a group of people together, again, I usually look at 4 as a minimum, but that helps you. It's your Entrepreneurs Anonymous, man. We all need it. We all need the boost and support to keep going because you're doing a great job, and it can be lonely at the top.
All right. Appreciate it, Evan.
No problem, Michael. Good luck. And for everybody listening, everybody has problems, okay? You look at other businesses and you think, wow, everybody's doing so well and I feel so down on myself, but everybody has problems. Everybody has thought about quitting. Everybody has major challenges. And surrounding yourself with people who you can feel comfortable enough to talk to and share those challenges with can make such a huge boost in your motivation and keeping you going. Welcome back to the Evan Carmichael Show. I believe in entrepreneurs. I want to see you have mad success with your company. And I want you to be productive. A lot of entrepreneurs are feeling that they're not productive. They're running around. And what I'm trying to do now with a new segment on my show is introduce a tool of the week. So let me know what you guys think afterwards. My tool of the week this week is Dropbox. If you haven't heard of Dropbox, go check it out, dropbox.com. What it basically allows you to do is share a folder with other people on your team. So if you're emailing PowerPoint files, Excel spreadsheets back and forth to people on your team, it can get really messy and you're not sure who's updated what, and you got to save the files to different folders. What I love about Dropbox is you create a folder on your computer, you share it with somebody else, and it automatically downloads to their computer. So if you're sharing files with somebody on your team, if you make a change, if you put something in that folder, if you update an Excel spreadsheet, it automatically updates it on their computer. So it's a great way to share files, and I've done that with everybody on my team. I have a joint Dropbox folder with them. I've also done it for personal reasons. You know, I have a joint Dropbox with my parents, and when they take my son off to their lake house and they take pictures, they pop them in the Dropbox. I turn on my computer, and all the pictures are there automatically. It's amazing. The other great benefit is if you have multiple computers, you may have a desktop at the office and a laptop at home. You can put all your files on Dropbox, and they'll sync automatically. So you don't have to email your files back and forth to home and office and home and office. You just load up your computer. If you've made a change at the office, it's automatically there when you get home and vice versa. The last big thing about it is that it syncs your files automatically online. So if you deleted something, you can go back and get it. And I put all of my files on Dropbox, so now whenever I load a new computer, so I just got a new computer 2 weeks ago, all I had to do was get my Dropbox installed, leave it to run overnight, and all my files are automatically there for me the next day. So it's perfect. Check it out. It's free. I'm not affiliated with the company other than being a happy customer. You get 2 gigabytes for free, and then you can start to pay either $5 or $10 a month for more space afterwards. So check it out, Dropbox.com. That's my tool of the week. I have Danielle on the line. Danielle, where are you from? How can I help?
Hi, I'm from New Jersey.
Welcome to the show. What's going on?
Well, I had recently came up with an invention that I've met with someone for something that I can possibly help save people's lives, mainly for children.
Okay.
With all the, you see a lot on Facebook with a lot of kids are missing. It's good for if someone's missing, if you're in a home invasion, robbery, fire. It's basically what it is. It's like a silent alarm GPS tracking device.
Okay.
That I met with an events company that we're working on putting together right now. Like you have with, like I work with elderly people, and one of my clients, you know how they have the life alerts?
Yeah.
Where it could contact the authorities if there's an emergency. And with mine, it's like where it's not going to only contact the authorities, it's going to send off a signal to your family members as well, where it gives everyone time to react at once.
Okay, very cool. Is it a bracelet, or what is it that they're putting on?
Well, I want to get it made into different things, but like for right now, it'll just be something with 3 different buttons on it. One for medical, fire, or any kind of emergency. Like if, for example, if someone breaks into my home and they're expecting you to have a phone, and a lot of times you don't have time to be on the phone with 911 explaining things. And with this, if you're taken out of your home or kidnapped or something like that, where you can't talk, where if someone takes you somewhere and you hit this button, not only is it going to contact the cops, it's going to contact your family members and track your every move.
So how can I help? What question do you have?
Well, basically, what I wanted to something to just get out there to people and let people know about my invention. And also right now what I'm doing is my last step, I have a full report on it done from the company, and just looking for investors right now.
Okay. Do you have a patent on this?
Yes, I had met with the events company. They're out in Pennsylvania,
Okay.
And that's the last step. They're going to help. They said that they will help with as far as press release, commercial, and everything else. I mean, the guy, he loves the idea, and that's pretty much the last step as far as
you have a patent on the product?
Yes, everything was done. Yes.
Okay. And you own that, or another company owns that patent?
No, I went to the company so that way they could help me get it together.
Okay, but the ownership of the patent is you.
That would be me.
Perfect. Yeah. So I mean, it's going to be one of the things that the investors are going to look at is, for any new technology, do you have the patent? And
yes,
is it something worth investing in?
Yes, I know that it's something, because the thing is, it's like crime happens every single day. That's something that's never going to stop. And with something like this, if it can save time with the police and family members and everything else, as far as tracking someone in the case of an emergency, like, this is something that could be around when we're long gone.
And is this something that you wear, or it's a?
Yes, it could be something that you wear. Like I want to do it in ways where it's things that we wear every day, whether if it's an earring, whether if it's a ring, where the diamond on the ring, it looks like a diamond, but it's actually a button. Where someone takes it and steals it, it's tracking their every move as well.
So it's concealed.
Yes.
Cool. Well, what's the name of your company, or have you set it up? You got a website?
Well, right now, I have a friend of mine who's working on putting a website together for me.
Okay.
Because actually we just finished everything. I just got the report from the events company. And as far as that, next step is just, like he said, we just have to find investors and everything, and then that way he can get it out to the media, do the commercial for it, and
good luck with the launch.
Thank you.
And maybe call back when it's up, and you can give us a website.
Okay, well, it'll be finished soon.
All right, thanks, Danielle.
Thanks.
And for everybody listening, hey, you got an invention, you're trying to raise money for it, make sure you have the patent. That's one of the first things that the investors are going to look at. If you don't have the patent for your idea, then it's going to be super challenging to get investors to put money in. So go check it out. It does cost some money. You can go with a provisional patent to start and then expand from there. Now, I get asked a lot by entrepreneurs. They write to me and they say, hey, Evan, how do I have success with social media? They see all the success I'm having with Twitter and YouTube and Facebook, and they say, I want some of that. I need to get some results from my social media campaigns. I want to tell you a quick story about how not to do it. Okay, a company reached out to me earlier this week called NeoReach with a complete wrong approach. What these guys do is they say, hey, Evan, we want to partner with you, and there are some brands who want to work with you, and they want you to tweet out some promotional information for them. And every time somebody clicks on that link, we're going to pay you. The challenge here is too many people treat social media like advertising. If you are treating social media like a pay-per-click AdWords campaign, you're going to fail. That's not what social media is all about. Look at your stuff. Okay, look at what you're sharing. Are you actually proud of what you've put up? Because if you're not, then you have to change your campaign around. Social media, what you want to think about it is, think about it as you're actually meeting these people, right? You're at a party, you're talking to friends. This is where word of mouth and referrals happen. It's not where advertising is supposed to happen. And too many entrepreneurs and big businesses too, a lot of people are getting this wrong. Too many people are just broadcasting. The stuff you're sharing sucks. It's boring. It's promotional. Look at what you're sharing. Look at what your company's putting out there on social media. If you weren't the president of your business, would you retweet that? Would you share that with your friends? Probably not. And that's the problem. That's why you're not getting any engagement. You don't need to be out there advertising your social media campaigns because they suck right now. You've got to do a better job in putting together campaigns that mean something. So it starts with thinking about, what do you stand for as an entrepreneur? What does your business stand for? What change are you trying to make for the better in this world? And then you start sharing stuff that is related to that. I want you to share something that makes people think, that stirs up some emotion, that if they read that post, they can't wait to share it with their friends. Because that's not going to happen from your coupon codes and your marketing promotions and your advertising. As long as you approach social media with an advertising angle, you're never going to have success. These companies are not going to have success. And it's only going to get harder because more and more and more people are coming online. More businesses are coming online and opening up their social media accounts. So your competition is growing exponentially. But there's always room for quality at the top. So what do you do? Again, start with one thing that you stand for, right? What do you stand for? What's the positive change you want to make in the world? And then start sharing quotes that you like, that inspire you. Share videos that you've watched and that you enjoy. Share articles that you've read and that you recommend. Even if none of these have anything to do with your business and what you're doing, you're building a community. Because if you want people to buy from you, they have to know you, like you, trust you first. That's what you're sharing on social media. And then maybe 20% of the stuff you're sharing is actually promotional. But the meat has to be value add, stuff that when you look at, this is the acid test, you look at it, you feel proud. You say, I made that, and I'm proud of it. When you get there with your social media campaign, you'll have a lot more success. I want to get to the calls. I have Sasha on the phone. Sasha, where are you from, and how can I help?
Hey, I'm Sasha. I'm in Orlando, Florida, and I'm the author of the children's book I wrote based on my children called Waiting for Baby Y. That's waiting, the number 4, baby, and the letter Y, because all my children's names start with the letter Y.
What are their names?
Basically, Yadin, Yoel, and Josiah.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, and it's basically about when I was pregnant with my third son and how the 2 big brothers couldn't wait for the baby to be born, and they had to wait, 9 long months. And it's a cute children's book. And basically, I just have had, kind of difficulties trying to think of creative ways to market the book to the target audiences, which would be, young children, expecting mothers, parents, basically. And I'm just, out of ideas on what to do. I don't have a lot of time because I do, have 3 boys and they're very young still.
Right.
So I just wanted to know if you had any creative ways that I could, try to market the book to a target audience.
Is there a teachable lesson in the book? Like if I read this to my son, is there something he's going to learn from it?
Yes, basically that, all great things you have to wait for in life. It's definitely worth the wait. The boys learn at the end of the book that it was worth waiting the 9 long months because this miracle, their little brother was born. So it was worth the wait. So that's the lesson, that some things you have to wait for in life.
Okay, cool. And is it something that could be used as a tool for parents who are expecting, they already have a child and they're expecting another one, they could read this to their kids?
Oh, most definitely, yes. That's basically who the book is basically for. The siblings, and it also helps to keep them. The older siblings helps to keep them a part of what's going on. Because sometimes they can get jealous that a new baby is now coming and joining the family. But this helps to keep them involved and keep them excited about the new addition to the family.
Yeah, I love that idea. I only have one child, but I could see it being a huge point of stress for a lot of parents who, when they're having their second, how do I, still involve my first child in this process?
Yeah.
Do you have any stats or data or numbers that talk about that pain that parents go through in trying to bring a second child into a family?
No, I just have, my life experience. And that's basically, the book is based on real life. It's based on my 3 kids. I basically just put that into the book and the experience that I went through. So I definitely think other parents can relate to it. I
think it would make a great media piece. I think it would be a great article on a lot of websites and in newspapers, and maybe lead to some, radio shows, news shows, and TV spots. It's not super difficult to put together. A lot of these media outlets have email addresses that you can write into if you create a press release. The thing they're going to want to see, though, is some kind of stats and numbers, right? So give me some data to show how parents are suffering or stressed out or worried about bringing, a second child or a third child into the family, and how to integrate the current kids with it.
Okay. All right, and also I'm a single mom, so there's not a lot of children's books out there, like with, single mom households, so I also think that's like an advantage to the book as well, that, I went through all of this as being like a single mom, so. Yeah.
And that could be a whole other angle too, right? It could be a second press release and second blast out. I think it's something that, I think as a parent, I can relate to it. I'm already stressing out thinking about, okay, when I had a second child, how's it going to be integrating my first into that and making him part of the process? So I would be a customer for your book.
Oh, great. It's at Barnes & Noble and Amazon.
Baby Y on Amazon. No, it's great. So I think it's something people can easily relate to. At the same time, if you're trying to get press about it, they want to be able to show some statistics and data to say this is a big deal. Like, you're attacking a big market. This is why you should care. Like, your personal story is amazing. You speak really well. I love how all the kids have the Y in their name. That's awesome. But maybe doing a little bit more research to find out how parents are struggling with this and why it's an important issue. And then I would think that would be something that media would pick up on pretty easily and have you in, again, radio shows, magazines, newspapers, maybe TV spots. And being seen as an expert to help families make this transition.
Okay, so just get some facts and statistics, basically, and try to put that together with my package and submit that somehow to them.
Yeah, so what you want to do, this is important, write a story for them. So look at their typical stories. Don't just write a press release to say, hey, waiting for baby Y is out. Write a story as if it was something that they would publish. So look at how they write their articles and try to write one like that includes you as the expert and all the stats and figures in there. And then send that off. All their email addresses are online. You can write to them, let them know you're available for a discussion. And I think you'll get picked up.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate the advice. Thanks. I will definitely look into doing that and the statistics and everything.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks for calling in, Sasha. Good luck.
All right. Thank you so much. Once again, it's at Barnes & Noble and Amazon. So thanks.
Waiting for baby Y. I'm a fan. Yeah, guys, create a story, get some stats together, get some media. It's so much better than doing advertising because when people write about you, people pay attention to the stories, not the ads. So get your story out there. Welcome back to the Evan Carmichael Show. I believe in entrepreneurs. I want to see you have a lot of success with your company. I also want you to have success in your life, and a great way to merge both of those is to do something nice. So let me give you a quick example. I was talking to my concierge at my building a couple weeks ago, and he mentioned to me that he really loved playing this game when he was a child called Inventors. And you go out and you buy these patents and you buy and sell and trade them. And the game was out of print since the 1970s. It just came up in our casual conversation. And I could have left it at that, but I decided that I would go on eBay and go check it out, see if anybody had a copy of this game. And I found the guy who had a complete set in pretty good condition, and so I bought it. I brought it home, it got delivered, and with my 4-year-old son, we wrapped it up, picked some Spider-Man wrapping paper, and marched downstairs to give the concierge his gift. And he opened it up and was speechless. I thought he was going to cry. And he started telling me a story about how when he was younger, he came from this tiny remote village and he had no internet and he had no TV, and what he would do was play this game with his dad. And seeing that game in print and right in front of him, it made his week. And it made my week too. Seeing him so happy. And he was going to go call his dad and invite him over, and they were going to have a game together. And that one simple act is taking that one element from his conversation with me and acting on it really made an impact on somebody's life. And it did a couple things. It made him feel great. It made me feel great. And it also taught my son a valuable lesson. And so I encourage you to spend some time this week. Just figure out one thing you could do nice for somebody. This game cost me $30, $40. It doesn't have to cost you anything. Just take some time out of your day to help somebody else out, and everybody will feel better for it. I have time for one last caller. I have Callie on hold. Callie, where are you from, and how can I help?
I'm in Laguna Beach, California. I've recently changed career paths, and this is going to sound really funny, but I live in an artsy-fartsy community. We have the Sawdust Festival every summer, and I'm really trying to decide if I want to go into, an art form like driftwood and that type of stuff.
Okay. So what's holding you back?
Well, one, I don't know where you get driftwood from. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I think it's just people actually buy this stuff. I go to stores and I see that they sell handmade paintings and works of art that are just the dumbest things that I've ever seen. You could probably find them at Walmart for $5, and they're getting a couple $100 from them. You're
working at a company now, you don't like it, and you want to start your own thing?
Yes, pretty much.
Okay. No, super common. Explore. The best thing you can do is explore. Just try it. Because once you get into it, you may find out that, this is not what I thought it was, and you learn that quickly. Or you may fall in love with it and find an opportunity and want to keep running with it.
So how long do you think it takes to maybe get a business off the ground and running?
There's no short answer for that, but really it should be something that you feel in your heart is the right thing to do. You should feel energized by this. When you are working, if it's driftwood, when you're working with driftwood, you should, get lost in it. You should feel like this is your calling. You should know in your heart that this is what you're meant to do. And if you get that feeling, then you have to keep going and find a way. And that may be part-time, right? You still keep your job that, you don't like, and that pays the bills until your driftwood thing gets off the ground. Or you may get into driftwood and it's great for a couple months and you realize, that's not what I want to do. I really want to get into something else, something totally different.
I just don't want to get with a bunch of driftwood in my garage.
No, but start small. Start with one piece, and then another piece. You don't need to go out and buy 1,000 pieces of driftwood and keep them in your garage.
Well, no. You have to actually buy driftwood. I was wondering, how do people find driftwood? I'm assuming that sounds funny, but it's just wood drifting. I get that part, but how do you find driftwood?
Well, hey, I'm in Toronto. We don't have driftwood here. But that's part of your journey, right? There's going to be all of these questions that will come up on the course of you building this business. And once you get into it, there's going to be more questions and more questions, and your journey is going to be discovering these and seeing if that you have the fortitude to keep going. You really want to pursue this or not. If you are looking at that and saying, I got to find driftwood, and it's such a pain, I don't know where to get it, and if all you see is the problems with it, then it's probably not the right thing to go after. But if this creates a sense of adventure in you, and you're excited by it, and you're just doing this naturally, you're seeking this out, you're looking for this opportunity, then it's worth continuing on, right? That could be, you could turn this into a business. There are lots of people who have done it. It could happen.
Well, yeah, I go to even stores and they've got driftwood with Christmas lights, and I'm not trying to make fun of them, but it's got to be some of the dumbest stuff I've ever seen that you look at and go, people are spending $500 on some driftwood with some tape and some Christmas lights. I could do that.
Well, so don't go into a business just trying to make money, right? It's the biggest mistake people make. They say, I could do that, and so they see it just as an opportunity to make money. You rarely do. But if you're going into it for a different reason, because this is your life's passion, right? You want to create and express yourself through art, then you'll have more success.
Okay, I agree with that. Maybe I should find something besides the driftwood then.
If you don't know what you want to do yet, just explore. Try lots of different stuff. Try driftwood. Try one piece of driftwood and see if you fall in love with it or not. If that's not it, try something else. If you're an artistic person, try lots of different things. Get your hand exposed to a lot of different areas until something feels right and you get lost in it. You want to wake up that next morning feeling, I can't wait to get started on my X project.
That's true. I can't wait to get started to get on some wood. That does make sense.
Right, so if that's sustainable, like if that's 3 months in and you're still excited by your driftwood project, then keep going with it. And that could turn into a business. If it's, hey, this is a way to make money on the side and I'm not that excited about it, you're not going to have success. So let your heart guide your passion.
I will. I'll let my heart guide it. I love it. Thank you so very much.
No problem, Callie. Thanks for calling in and good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. It's been another fantastic show. Lauren, amazing as usual, my producer. And Josh, awesome job. First show with me. Love it. Super professional. I'm on again in 2 weeks. Everybody continue to build your business, continue to believe, and I will see you soon.